Hello and good evening. My name is John. This is the Joncast, also formerly known as The Good, the Bad, and the Scary. It's a podcast. It's a podcast that I'm going to put up on YouTube about horror in my life, because every time I try to talk to people, they say, you talk too much. And sometimes people are like, why don't you just start a podcast and see if anybody wants to listen to what you have to say. So because of that and this big, gaping, lonely void that is in my heart, I have decided to start this podcast and talk to you all. I will talk to the void that is the internet. I will just speak out these words and see where they go and see who listens to them, who clicks on the video and says, wow, that was so insightful. This guy is just brilliant. And who knows, there's so many mind-blowing things that I say that you may leave this video feeling like, oh my goodness, this guy is just on another level. And you'll hit the subscribe. You'll subscribe to this podcast, the Joncast. Formerly known as The Good, the Bad, and the Scary. I did the good, the bad, and the scary. I made videos. I did them during COVID, too, yeah. That was a good time. Lots of masks and everything. So, since we're here, and since I've got you all's attention, you like the new mic? Look at this. This thing. So I went trick-or-treating. And, but my neighborhood's not the best neighborhood to go trick-or-treating in, people say. It's kind of like the place that's like Barbarian, if you've seen the movie Barbarian. But, don't go out in the dark. You're going to get shot. So I went out. People were saying, what the heck are you doing out here? People gave me weird glances. But, I went out with my best spirit, Halloween spirit. Feeling good, feeling fine. I'm not going to let anything stop me. Got to the first house and, I knocked on the door and I was expecting some candy, but then I heard some very realistic gunshots and somebody started passing me lots of money with fake blood on it. They're like, just take it, run. And so I did what they said and I just ran. And I ran with that money and, the police came at some point, but I was just running. I was running with the money, and it was a good trick-or-treating time. And when I got there, I was like, what am I going to do with this money? And I thought, why don't I buy something for myself? I'm going to buy a microphone, and I'm going to start the Joncast. It's a podcast, formerly known as The Good, the Bad, and the Scary, but it's going to be about horror. It's going to be about everything. Because people say I talk too much, and they're getting tired of me. They're getting tired of listening to me. They're getting tired of communicating with me. So I've got to start this podcast. And that was what's on my mind. I was just doing the trick-or-treating stuff to try and escape that heavy burden and, give myself anything to think of other than that for a moment in time. Anyhow, so I went to the electronics store and I was trying to pay for a microphone. This microphone right here. And they said to me, sir, we don't accept money with blood all over it. I was like, well, it's legal tender. They're like, sir, we're afraid that this has been, part of something that is illegal or illicit activities. And I was like, oh, whatever, People they're so squeamish about Halloween sometimes. So then I went and tried to wash the money off. I found a hose in the back, but, I sprayed some of them and I lost a few $100s because it just went off into the drain. So that was not a good idea. So then I saw this coin laundromat and I put the money in a laundry machine. And then I turned it and gave it a rinse cycle because the rinse was probably it was the cheapest cycle. It was like $1 for a rinse cycle, and you get a good 15 minutes of rinsing with that. So I laundered that money and rinsed it, and then I came back, and then I bought this microphone. This time they said, sir, your money's all wet. And I said, well, I'm not sure if it's going to burn in the dryer. Are you going to accept it or not? And finally they accepted it, which was great. So that's what enabled me to start the Joncast, the formerly known as The Good, the Bad, and the Scary podcast. Podcast about horror movies, horror things. So here I am. Since I'm here, I thought I would talk to you all because nobody else wants to listen to me. But then after that, when I got back, I decided I would watch a movie. It was Halloween. It's Halloween. You're gonna watch a movie. You're gonna watch a Halloween movie. That's what you do. It's the perfect time because everywhere on social media, everybody's saying, "Oh, I'm watching this Halloween movie. Oh, I'm watching something scary." Listen, I watch scary things every single day of my life almost. Okay, my life is scary. I even write things. I write scary things. So you notice these books over here. Yeah, I read books too. I read scary books. And look, candles. See, look at that. I got the full package here. So I went back and I watched a movie, and that movie was H20. Not water. No, not a water movie. The movie was not about water, okay? So for all of you chemists out there and people who are going to come and attack me on this video saying, "Hey, you can't watch water." Number one, if you're peaceful enough, you can watch water, all right? Number two, the movie I'm talking about is Halloween 20 years later. H20. The 20 stands for 20 years later, okay? So let's not get confused here. Let's not, think that I'm just sitting around looking at water for a while. I mean, I do drink water. I think water is important for everybody. I place water at a very high value in my life. In terms of rankings, water is really up there with sleep. Like, I'm a big fan of sleep too. Sleep works. Eating food. So like water and food really go hand in hand. But we can talk about that at another time because, in particular, going back to point 2, the movie was H20, Halloween 20. 20 years later, because Jamie Lee Curtis, she's just been waiting around. She's waiting this whole time for her brother Michael Myers. Even though I think it's based off of, it's like a sequel to Halloween 2. And if you've seen Halloween 2, Michael dies in a fire. And he gets burnt to a crisp. And you would assume Loomis burns to a crisp too, but no, he's fine. He's all right. He survived that. But we found that out in Halloween 4 that he survived. Halloween H20 though, yeah. There's not as much water as I would have expected in this movie. It would have been nicer to have more, like water product placements or something, but it was a really missed opportunity for that film in particular. But it is what it is. They made their decisions, and those decisions, they got to live with those decisions. I'm not the one living with them now. I'm just the consumer. I'm just consuming their products now. And if I had seen more bottled waters during this movie, a movie that's called Halloween H20, I am going to be more inclined to buy a bottle of water too. You show me a Dasani up there. Show me a character drinking a Dasani, I'm going to think about going to get one. But anyhow, so yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's just been sitting around waiting for this guy. Because she knows he's not dead. She knows in her heart, in her soul, in her mind. She knows. But, in the old format, this is the Joncast now, not the good, the bad, and the scary. But if it was the good, the bad, and the scary, I used to do things where I would say, what was the good of the movie? Yeah, the movie was good, all right? I give it a thumbs up. Look. Can you see that? You see that thumbs up right there? I give it a thumbs up, all right? Whoa. Something just popped up and gave me a thumbs up too. Wow, that's some like AI technology. And hey, during this time, when I do this, you can also give a thumbs up to this video. Nothing is stopping you. Unless you were being held captive and somebody decided that, hey, we're going to torture this individual, guy or girl. I'm not going to get into, any gender biases. You may be captured right now, tied up. Heck, you may be sitting there and they're saying, hey, we're going to torture them. Let's put on some YouTube. And they put on my video. So in that case, yeah, I understand. If you could use like your nose or something, like, you take your nose, see if you can get the mouse to go toward this. If you can go toward the subscribe to and get it with your nose, that would be, fantastic. So in any of those ways, if you could do that, that would be great. So like from now on, anytime I do this, actually, you only do it once, because I think if you do it again, it gets rid of it. So like one time, give the thumbs up, give the like, and then take your hand off the mouse, unless you can't reach a mouse, And in that case, keep working to get to that like and to that mouse. So yeah, back to the movie. Yeah, I like it. It's a good movie. It's got that classic 90s feel. It's written by, or at least one of the screenwriters looks like one of the ones from Scream. And it feels like Scream. It feels like the Halloween version of Scream. Like, it's got that same sort of feeling. It's got that 90s vibe. It's got that Jamie Lee Curtis sort of feeling. It's got that, Michael Myers is not really Michael Myers, but some screamy dude who's really a high school guy and wanting to be cool and going to be like Scooby-Doo or something later on in his life. Shaggy. He's going to get a dog named Scooby, but he will be Shaggy. And maybe he dresses Shaggy too in his life. But no, this time it's actually Michael Myers in this costume. And when it comes to that, it's a good movie. The characters are interesting. There's a guy in there, LL Cool J. I guess this was during his time when he was hopping into horror movies. He's gonna get into the scene and really stick his foot in there, and even though they may be trying to slam the door, he's keeping it right there, and he's gonna make his way into that scene. Yeah, because the last time I saw him, he was blowing up sharks and ovens and eating parrots alive. So it's refreshing, you get to see there's LL Cool J. Maybe he did this movie before he did the other one I saw. But he's there. And he's writing a erotic novel. Very erotic. He's talking about melons and his girlfriend's talking about cantaloupes. But he's a security security officer. And I don't know if he's the best one, too, because he kind of misses Michael Myers a few times when that guy's coming around. Yeah, he definitely misses him. And not misses in the sense of, like, you're longing for somebody. He doesn't see him. And he's right by the window, and he just doesn't see him. Yeah, so maybe he should be, the thing I was thinking is, like, maybe he should be out there writing more horror novels. Like me. Like, I write horror novels. I do. Let me see if I can get you one. This one right here is one I wrote. See, I write horror novels. Why doesn't he write horror novels? He writes erotica. And that's the problem. The guy lets a killer in as a security guy. Me. Okay? This is Gestation 36. That's me right there. I write them. He doesn't. There's the difference. No serial killers have broken into an elite boarding school with a bunch of, like, preppy kids that I've ever been watching as a security officer, because I know the things to watch out for. All right? I watch out for them. I keep my eyes peeled. Like, I think about it, and I think things. There are thoughts in my head that I think. And those thoughts are not like, how do I describe somebody's boobies or anything like that? Like you could say melon, you could say cantaloupe, but I'm thinking, how could this serial killer get into this elite prep school where Jamie Lee Curtis is living? Yeah. So anyhow, he was better off when he was eating live parrots because, I don't know if he's fit to be a security officer, but he is one, and he's writing that erotic novel. So, yeah, that's, again, one of the good points. The characters are interesting. Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah, she's in it. She's good. It's good to see her again, because we haven't really seen her unless you watched all the new modern Halloween movies, which I haven't. But if you watch those, then maybe you've already seen her. But I, since I haven't seen them, the last time I saw her in a Halloween movie was when I repeat watched Halloween 2, and there she is. She's in a hospital. She's all sad. She's sad in a hospital. I would be sad too if I found out my brother's a serial killer and he's killing people like serial killers do. Then, yeah, so this is 20 years later, though, after that. All of those things that happened with that other little girl who's Jamie. The girl's name's Jamie. Not Jamie Lee Curtis. The girl's name was Jamie in Halloween 4. She ended up being crazy, too. Crazy, but then, and then, not episode 5, but movie 5. She's not as crazy. And then the 6th one, she's a little crazy too, but in a different way. And she's dead. But yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah, it's good to see her again. She did a good job. She's a good performer. I got to give her that. She's a good actress. And what's great about this movie is they don't make her an unbelievable character. She's got quite a lot of PTSD. Everything is a jump scare for her. Every time anybody's like, hey, can you sign these documents? She's just screaming like, I didn't see you there. And it's like, well, I've been standing here. We've been in a meeting for the past 20 minutes, and, we need to sign these permission slips for all these teens to go to Yosemite. The thing is, she's got a kid now. In this movie, she has a kid. Yeah. And when I say kid, sometimes people think it's like, oh, some like 5-year-old. No. He's 17. 17-year-old kid whose dad sends him a birthday card 2 months late. Yeah. Talk about a deadbeat. But yeah, and so she's got a kid, and it's, the movie is like this teen sort of horror movie because we follow the kid a bit more, and he's going to have a party with his girlfriend, probably premarital relations. But, he doesn't die. Oh, that's a spoiler. Yeah, well, you probably could have guessed, but he doesn't. And that is probably because he doesn't do the premarital relations. And it's played by this guy named Josh Hartnett. Some people will know him. Some people who grew up in the 90s, they will know that name. They will, because we knew these sorts of actors. And he's in that movie. He's Jamie Lee Curtis's son. And Jamie Lee Curtis will not let him go to Yosemite with all the other kids at his boarding school. She says no, absolutely not. Because Michael Myers will be at Yosemite. But little does she know, by saying no to Yosemite, she's putting him in danger. Because Michael is coming to that boarding school. Yeah, he drove all the way from Haddonfield, Illinois. Or somewhere in Illinois. And, yeah, that's what he does. So I would say that's the good of the movie. It's good. It's fast-paced. It's easy. I've rewatched it several times because it's just enjoyable. I like the movie. You'll like the movie. Watch the movie. There's some funny moments. There's some scary. No, not really scary moments, but there's a lot of jump scares. So every moment is a jump scare. Okay, so the bad. Let's see about the bad. Yeah, I don't like his mask. Nobody likes the mask. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea for the mask to be, it's like you can see these eyes like this, and it's just, I don't know who's playing Michael. I didn't look it up. I should have looked it up. Before I started this podcast, I should have done a lot more research. I should have gotten a paper and pen out. I should have, just started jotting things down, information, things I could say. And then, I'd have that for this podcast, but I don't. And I'm not going to look anything up right now. I'm not going to get on my computer while I'm doing this and say, oh, actually, it's by this person. Maybe in a different episode I will. Maybe, but this time, no, I will not. So I don't know who played Michael. But it felt like, there was just some teen person who was playing Michael. Some Scream individual. And everybody kept hitting Michael this time. And I kept whacking him on the head with fire extinguishers. Kept ramming American flags. Or not American flags. Maybe it was like the school flag. Flag pulls into him. Ramming that into him. He got stabbed many times too. But he lives. Michael always lives. Yeah, he lives a lot. Yeah, he does. You can't really kill him. Yeah, so bad, it's so-so. It's not really bad. Just I wasn't a fan of the mask. Wasn't fan of the way Michael walked and did his things. I think what's cool about Halloween 1, Halloween 2, I like Halloween 4 and I like Halloween 6. Some people don't like them. Some people really don't like them, and I'm going to do a podcast on them. And that's not for the people who don't like them. It's for the people that do like them. But then I am, secretly, I'll keep my fingers crossed, hoping that people who look at that podcast, they'll come over here and they'll be like, oh, hey, I don't like Halloween 4. And I'm like, hey, I like it. Ha, ha, ha. And then I got them. That's when I get them. So, yeah. But that's another time. And, yeah, so I'm not sure I'm a fan of that mask. But, the way he walks, I like it. Halloween 1 and 2, he's just kind of stalking. He's a bit creepy. He's standing behind the bushes. He's doing the laundry. It's like, I've got so much laundry at my house. It's all piled up. It's all, there's some money jammed in the dryer, because I did try to dry some of it. Just don't put money in the dryer. And especially, some of the new bills that they have, it's just, it's made of this cloth-like material, but it can and it will jam the filter. Especially the hundreds and the 200s, Okay, there's no $200 bill, but you know what I mean. You get 2 100s in there and they jam it. And, yeah, so... But I mean, if a serial killer came and started doing my laundry, I'd appreciate it as long as he's not doing the killing stuff. He or she, male or female, it's fine. But yeah, doing some of the laundry, because it's all backed up. All backed up. But yeah, okay, so the scary now. We did the good, we did the bad, and now the scary. Movie's not really scary. Sorry. There's jump scares, if that's your thing. But it's not scary. Michael doesn't feel scary. The knife doesn't feel scary. The kids don't feel scary. Jamie Lee Curtis feels scary as a mother. Maybe that's the scary of the movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is a bit scary. There are moments where she is scary. So, uh-oh, my cat is trying to break in. Please do not break in. Anyhow, yeah, so the scary, I would say, is probably Jamie Lee Curtis. She's a scary lady. She's screaming at her kids. She's screaming at the boarding school kids. Yeah, she's an alcoholic. According to her son, she's a functioning alcoholic in that movie. But, yeah, not really scary. Thrilling. There's some thrilling moments, yeah, I would say. some fun thriller at the end, especially the car scene is interesting. And I don't know why she does that. I don't know why she gets in the car, where she was planning to go. Maybe straight to the morgue or the morgue to do a cremation. I don't know. That's what I would do. But she becomes a lumberjack, for those of you who have seen the movie. But for those of you who haven't seen the movie, go watch it. Go see it. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie. Enjoyable. Entertaining. And since I've talked enough, and I've talked about H2O, I've talked not only about water, any bottled water people want me to put product placements. This is the perfect place for me to do it in this video. I'll posthumously, edit this video. Wait, posthumously, that's after you die. No, I won't do it after I die, but I'll re-edit the video and re-upload it. But, Dasani, this is perfect opportunity right here, this video. Just imagine if I'm holding, maybe over here, I'm holding in my hand two, I could be holding 2 Dasani water bottles. How many more customers would you get right now? So, H2O, Halloween 20 years later. So we talked about both. We've talked about the good, the bad, and the scary of that. So I think that's enough for today. I'm going to go see if I can bother some of my friends. I'm going to talk to them. And then they're going to say, you should just start a podcast. You're annoying me. And I'm going to say, I already did, but I'm back, And so that's what I'm going to do. And again, there's a book I wrote. You can buy this book. You can buy it. I wrote another book too. I just haven't gotten the physical copy. It's about ghosts in Western Australia. You can buy that book too. Any of my books. There's another one about Dream Factory. It's up to you. Buy them. It'll be good for you. You can be like me. You could buy them and put them all here. Get a whole shelf of just my books. That would be phenomenal. It's a good use of your time and a good use of your money. But for now, I think I'm going to be signing out. Thank you for watching the Joncast, formerly known as The Good, the Bad, and the Scary. I'll see you all next time, whenever next time is. Okay, goodbye.